Hello, I'm Martin Coward, and I am so excited you made the decision to watch this video, where I'm going to share with you exactly the steps I followed, exactly what I did to go from the fear of bankruptcy to the joy of prosperity, simply by changing the way I think and the way I talk about money. And there was specifically one statement that I will never, ever say again. And I'll get to that in 1 second. Before I do, I want you to understand the two mindsets. The scarcity mindset, which is rampant in our world today, and the abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset says there's only a finite amount of resources. There is only so much in the world, and I better get my share. There's just not enough to go around. There's only a finite amount of money, there's only a finite amount of resources, and that is scary because you're going to do anything you can to get your fair share, no matter what. But that's the scarcity mindset. An abundance mindset is different. The abundance mindset says, wait a minute. The universe, the creator of the universe, created infinite resources for us to create a life beyond our wildest imagination. There is nothing lacking. There is no finite amount of money. There is no finite amount of resources. There are infinite resources for us at our hands, at our disposal to create. We are creators. So of course, the creator who created us provided us all the resources we need to create. And the beauty is this: of the two, which one do you think is more fun? The scarcity or the abundance? Well, the abundance is the truth. And the scarcity mindset is based on a great big lie. And so many of our social economic systems and structures have been built on that lie. And I think they're probably going to be, they're beginning to implode on the pain of their own, same way it's pain for me. It becomes so painful and so unreal that it's going to choke on its own pain and pressure. Because the truth is, there is nothing lacking. But let me tell you something, it doesn't come easy. Because I lived in the world of scarcity, fear, and doubt most of my life. And that's what pushed me to the top of the ladder. And here I was in 2017 in a beautiful office, a top producer in a Fortune 500 financial services firm with a beautiful office overlooking Park Avenue in Manhattan. And yet, inside me, I was scared to death. I suffered from what's known as imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is one of the symptoms. That's one of the effects, you will, the bad effects of the scarcity mindset. The imposter syndrome, it says you're just not quite, you're really not good enough to be where you are. You're a fraud. You're not really as good enough. Anybody finds that, you're so afraid anybody finds out, you're going to be ruined. And that became so obsessive with me at one point in my life. And one other thing about imposter syndrome, the more successful you are, the more intense the pain. So it will eventually break you the way it did me. And one day a friend of mine said to me, a really good friend, smart businessman, a good friend, actually a woman, I should say, a good friend of mine, a smart businesswoman, said to me, Martin, you are obsessed with money. You are obsessed with success, so much so that you don't even, it's not even fun to be around you anymore. And this fear of not having enough, this fear that you have is so toxic. That's what's destroying your business. You're good at what you do, but it's your fear that's destroying your business. This imposter syndrome, this scarcity mentality. So together, we went through a process to sort of unpack, where did I get this story of not enough? Where did I come up with, how did I embrace this? We're not born with it. How did I get the scarcity mindset? And what we discovered, looking at my history, three things. One, my great-grandfather, who was quite wealthy, by the way, in the South, shot and killed his brother, his own brother, around money. In an argument around money, shot and killed his brother. The second one is his son, my grandfather, committed suicide in his 60s, broke. And my mother and father argued about money every single day of their lives. There was never enough. And my father never made enough. So of course I grew up with this mindset, this belief system around scarcity. And I bet some of you have too. It's painful. So we began to inquire, is it true? That's the best way, bombard your brain. Is it true that you're not worthy of love if you don't make a lot of money? Is it true that there's only a finite amount of resources in the world to create a wonderful world? Are all the belief systems that come out of the scarcity mindset true? No, they're all lies. Of course they're not true. We are born into abundance. We are born. The creator of the universe created infinite supply of resources to continue to create and evolve humanity in this globe. Now we might not respect that all the time, and we don't. But the truth of the matter is, there is nothing lacking, and that's what abundance mindset does. We know deep in our bones that there's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough. I just tap into that resource, particularly when we're clear that we've got value to add to the world. So let me tell you one little story too about how wealth is created, how money is created. Because it's all created. It's all created by adding value. Let's pretend you've got a bottle of water and I'm thirsty and I have $1. I want that bottle of water to quench my thirst. So from my perspective, your bottle of water is more valuable to me than my $1. And from your perspective, you're willing to sell me that bottle of water for $1 because the $1 is worth more. It has more value than my water, than the water you have. So if we exchange items, if I give you the $1 and you give me the water, we have created more value for both of us and brought more value and more wealth into the world, and that is infinite. If you're a coach and you've got wonderful information to give people to help them grow their careers and grow their businesses, you've got some valuable information. You offer a valuable service. And some people who will recognize that value are willing to pay you for it. And when we exchange that service for money, for more value, we have created more wealth. And there's infinite supply. So understand, it may be a little hard right now, but understand something. The truth is there is nothing lacking in this world, nothing lacking in you, and nothing lacking in this world. We live an abundant world if we don't exploit it. So what's that one question? What's that one statement that I told you about that I quit using? because I began to change the way I think and the way I talk about money. And there's one statement that I will never, ever say again. And I bet you say it. I bet you have said it. I can't afford it. How many times do you say, I can't afford it? Either because it looks too expensive and you can't afford it because you think you can't afford it, or maybe you use it as an excuse. Maybe your friend wants you to buy something from them, and you say, oh, that's nice, but I can't afford it. Either way, it's a lie. Whatever you say, I can't afford it, you are just continuing the lie of scarcity. It is not true. So instead of saying, I can't afford it, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, how can I afford it? Ask yourself, how can I afford it? And one of two things will happen. One, you'll ask yourself, how can I afford it? And you'll look at it and you'll say, I really don't want it. I don't really have a need for that. That's being offered to me is of less value than what I want to spend. So I don't see the value. There's no added value for me to have that. So I'm not willing to exchange my money for it. That's one thing. Or two, you'll see that there is value in it. Value in your cause, value in your journey, value in what you're about, value in your creation. And you know that's something that the universe wants you to have. You know in your gut, you know in your heart that you want it. It seems right now out of character, out of touch, out of reach. But if you begin to ask yourself, how am I going to get this? I need it. You will find it. You will find the universe will actually supply you with all the resources you need to create a wonderful life. You just have to change your thinking and change your conversation from a scarcity mindset, which is a big lie, to the truth of abundance. And never say, I can't afford it again. Thank you.